didn't know if it was appropriate to talk because I didn't know if you were in meditative mode.
I'm going to ask for the first one here to make sure you can see my screens.
About screens?
Can you see Mary Magdalene feast day?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. That's great. And you can see my picture and your picture in little windows?
Yeah.
Super. Okay.
I forgot to wear red. Oh my goodness. I meant to.
And beautiful flowers on your top. They're very appropriate. Now, well, let's see. Well, that wasn't what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. I've got no, that wasn't what I wanted to do either. I've got a new keyboard that should allow me to play the music here so that I can, you can still hear the music, but you should be able to hear me over top of it. So
that's good.
So if you're having any trouble hearing me, let me know.
Okay.
I'm expecting about 10 or 15 people, so I'll give it a few minutes before we get started.
I can run and put something red on.
No, yeah, I really love your talk. It's just Mary Magdalene is symbolized by roses, so
okay,
it's one of her big that and pearls and skull because of being at the crucifixion, and yeah, so it's absolutely perfect.
I'm interested in why you're attracted to this person, and why she's symbolized with red. I guess because of blood, and why roses.
Let's see. You're so welcome as we're gathering here together. I'm so pleased to see everyone. Just waiting for a couple more people to join. I know some of you are coming from the another celebration that we're having within our Rosa Mystica group, which is, well, actually Priestess Presence, the leader of the group, Elaine Kalila, released her card deck today, her Mary Magdalene card deck oracle.
Wow.
So I know Catherine Whitman and myself were celebrating with that group as well just before this. So thank you for coming. And going to celebrate Mary Magdalene's feast day in a few ways by reading an excerpt from my book, Mary Magdalene Lives, by leading you in a ritual and sharing resources and events that are happening today. Our beloved Catherine Whitman has an exciting event launch that I'm looking forward to sharing with you in a little while. So our purpose today is to honor Mary Magdalene on her traditional feast day. And we're not doing it as her as a religious figure, but as a teacher and a leader, a divine human woman of strength, power, unconditional love, and wisdom. So I invite you to join me. My intention is to restore Mary to her rightful position, which I see as a woman who is a leader, as I said, and a teacher. And she's been maligned in history. So I want to celebrate her, not as history has thought of her, but in terms of being almost a goddess essence. And by that, I mean a divine human and a divine woman. I would love for you to set your own intention for this hour-long celebration. It may be to find out more about Mary Magdalene, to find out or to commune with her energy, to feel a connection with the divine feminine within you and in every other woman, and the divine feminine that's found in men as well. For we each carry divine masculine and divine feminine within. Wrong way here. So here's a picture of my altar for Mary Magdalene. This is something that you may want to do yourself today. Just if you're feeling inspired after this ceremony, after our celebration, you may want to create something to do with Mary. I have one of the items on my altar is, I don't think you can see my cursor pointing, but it's on the left-hand side, and it looks like a snake. It's a snake, a puma, and a condor. The Inca representation of oneness, the below, the surface, and the above. And Mary Magdalene is evoked in my heart by these three symbols: the snake, or the Ouroboros, who is the snake with the tail in its mouth. It symbolizes to me infinity. The puma, or the jaguar, is a sacred animal of great wisdom, great speed. And to me, it represents Mary in her incarnations in other lands. I believe that when she left her body as Mary Magdalene, that her essence went to other places as well. And so the jaguar reminds me of her essence in the Inca lands and the Maya lands, and these are going to be parts of my series, my book series, where Mary Magdalene travels to these areas. And the condor, or the eagle, representing the above. There's a feather you can see on my altar as well, just representing the Holy Spirit that infuses us and makes us divine humans, anthropos. So Mary Fran was saying she was interested in my personal journey. Before I do that, though, I want to invoke Mary Magdalene's presence. So I'm going to light the candle invoking her presence. And I see my lighter is just off to the side here, so I need to go get it. Now, where is it? There it is. There we go. So I have 3 candles, which you may have noticed on my altar. I'm going to light the first of the 3. Representing, in this case, Mother or Mary Magdalene in her oneness. And with sacred intent, I invoke her presence, calling her by her many names. We call you forth, Mary Magdalene, Mary Magdalene, Miriam of Magdala, Marie, Mara, the Magdalene, Maria, our Mary, Marie, Mariam, Watchtower, Tower of Strength, Maja, Magi, and Holy Grail. So we could just take a couple of minutes to feel Mary's presence with us in the silence, filling us all with love, with strength and wisdom. I am a spiritual mentor and a higher consciousness activator and an author. And I felt a connection with Mary Magdalene for as long as I can remember. For some reason, my young ears perked up when I was curious about her when I heard Easter stories of her witnessing Jesus or Joshua ben Joseph, which some people feel is Jesus' actual Aramaic name, Joshua, and then Ben Joseph, son of Joseph. I first got to know Mary Magdalene intimately when I was about 10 years old. My father had a life-threatening illness and was in the intensive care unit. And I took our family Bible and our prayer book, it was right around Easter time, and read the Gospels for those days. And it felt like Mary came to me as a presence and comforted me. And I asked her to intervene so that my father would live. And I promised I'd be an exceptionally good person if he lived. So that was something that really influenced my life, that promise. But my fascination with Mary Magdalene continued, and some of my friends call me a Magdalene expert. I've worked with her energy. I've researched all that I could find about her, and I called on her when I needed guidance for a clear path forward. When I began writing my spiritual fantasy series with her as the main character, I learned about the way, what she and Jesus Joshua taught as a way to live a highly conscious spiritual life of well-being. And you can read a sample of the chapter and learn more about the way that she impacted my life in a recently released book. If you haven't already got it, it's a Kindle sampler anthology called Meet Our Authors, and it's available on Amazon. When I checked on Thursday, it was actually free, but usually it's only $2.99 on Amazon if you don't already have a copy. So in that in that chapter where I'm featured, I have been interviewed and I tell stories about how the way that Mary Magdalene has impacted my life, and you can read one of the first chapters. So I believe that the effect of connecting with Mary Magdalene's essence is very powerful, because I've seen how it's made a huge difference in my life. And as I implemented her teachings more purposefully in my life, the more that I wrote about her and felt more connected, I feel more joy, inner peace, freedom, and fun. She has an interesting sense of humor. So it really excites me to share Mary Magdalene with people who I know and love, because I know how she works in my life and in other people's lives. So I'm going to read now a sample from my book. I'm just feeling in to see, there were two selections that I had thought of, and I'm just feeling in to see which one. I'm going to read from chapter 11. This is the parable of twin sisters, scene 56. And it, let's see, I'm just going to get the text here. It's not in the version. I had so many versions of the what I wanted to say today, and this isn't in it. It's not in this one either. Okay, so I'm just going to, oh, maybe it was there. Okay, instead, I'm going to read from chapter 3, called Memories of Zaloth. And Zaloth is a town that Mary and her 7 followers visited shortly after, or it's a remembrance, just as they're traveling to Nazareth. And this scene takes place shortly after the one in the book that I was just mentioning to you. So as the women walked along, the land around them became hillier and greener, with groves of olive trees, terraced fields of wheat and vegetable crops, and grass for the grazing sheep. Pine trees offered shelter from the wind as Mary and her sacred 7 arrived in Nazareth. The isolated town in the northeast of Galilee nestled itself among the mountains. As they walked along a path at the bottom of the green-treed north hill of Nazareth, the women could smell fresh water and feel a cooling mist moistening their faces. Mary recalled what she had discovered about this community. When Lauren, the woman they stayed with in Zaloth the previous night, learned their next stop was Nazareth, she said, "I grew up in the hills outside of the area. Numbers of old, stodgy, tradition-loving men and a few forward-thinking women lived there. It has suitable farmland for grazing sheep and growing grain on the slopes. There are lots of olive, fig, and pomegranate trees. I believe Migdala and the area around the Sea of Galilee is lusher, though. Mary asked where the women of the community washed their families' tunics and linen. From experience, Mary had found this was the best place to share her message of the way. The local housewives and wealthier family servants were there long enough for Mary and her followers to establish rapport and discover common interests. She would engage their attention while they were busy doing a routine chore. Curious or inspired, most would stay when they were done. Lauren told her since there was no river, the women used one of the local springs. "Wait until you see it," she said, as she passed the spicy smelling lentil stew. "It's like nothing you can imagine." Mary and her followers had sat on old beige cushions around a low scrap wood table, enjoying the company of Lauren and her husband, Luke. They talked about the community and the natural surroundings. Mary felt her heartstrings ping when the 3-year-old girl crawled on her lap and cuddled in. What a treasure, Mary thought. She is an example of how we enter the world. This child is her true self. Everything is a wonder and trusted. May humanity all learn to live like this. Mary's heart expanded with awe and bliss as she closed her eyes, stroked and sniffed the child's shining ebony hair. "What is your name?" Mary asked her. "I'm Mary Elizabeth." "Well, imagine that. My mother's name is Elizabeth." The child looked up at her, her mouth the shape of an O. Mary smiled. "Do you think I'm named after you? My name is Mary too." Mary Elizabeth's eyes widened. "It is?" "Mm-hmm. You're an angel, you know," she whispered. "A gift from God. It loves you just the way you are. Always remember that." The girl nodded. Her dark eyes contained the wisdom of an old soul. Mary sat in bliss until the little one wiggled and hopped down. She went to her older sister sitting by the fire and grabbed her hand, trying to pull her up. "It's bedtime. I'm going to dream about God tonight." Lauren and Luke beamed at Mary. "She looked so at home on your lap," Lauren said. Mary smiled. She remembered a time when she was confused about her destiny as a woman. She had longed to have children, but she disdained the idea of marriage. Because of her mixed feelings, it had been painful to see that special bond between nursing mothers and their child. Now she knew she had a bigger purpose. At this time, I'm committed to sharing the message about the way and advocating for women to get more respect and honor. I can be a mother figure to every youngster I meet, she thought, and be a sister to the older ones. By choosing a childless life, women who cannot conceive or who decide they prefer not to be a parent, they relate to me. However, if my purpose changes or my values change and I wish to, I could have babies, even though I'm 34. Look at Elizabeth, John the Baptist's mother. She was barren and reaching old age when she had John. Mary then qualified this truth she held in her higher awareness. My beliefs and high frequency will enable a miracle if for some reason I decide it is necessary to establish my bloodline for a critical time in the future. As she had these thoughts, Mary took the opportunity to send intense love to each mother, father, and child in the world. Next to every childless person, then she poured that love into all sentient beings in the omniverse. She realized what she gave out would come back to her multiplied many times. She received increased gratitude when the pulsing waves returned to her. When Mary had finished this practice, she tuned into the conversation. While Mary was in her reverie, Rachel, who knew Jeshua had grown up in Nazareth, asked Lauren if there was news about his family. Rachel had a special reason for asking this. She had a warm connection with Jeshua and his mother Mary, having first met her when Mother Mary came for a visit to the isolated Essene community at Mount Carmel, where Rachel's mother was the senior female. And this scene goes on to share about Mary and Jeshua's visits to the Essene community when Jeshua was young, some of the mischief he got into, and it describes Mother Mary's experiences in Nazareth more recently and her subsequent move to Capernaum. So I hope that I've stimulated your interest. And if you have any questions or anything that you'd like to share in the chat about this reading, I'd love to know and to hear that. Thank you. Thanks, Catherine. I appreciate your comment. So now I'd like to go on to the ritual. One of the things as a shamanic practitioner that I've learned from studying with a Maya shaman is how to do celebration and ritual. So I'm looking forward to your participation in the ceremony. I showed you my altar. I'll just go back and you can have another look at it. So this is where I will be working from. And I'm going to drape Mary Magdalene in the little statue that's just sort of in the middle. Can't see it very well. I'm just going to cover her in a brownish color cloth until a time in the ceremony when I unveil that cloth. So I'm going to light some incense. And if you can imagine yourself being smudged, being anointed with this holy smoke. Let's see if we can get some of the smoke showing on the screen here. I'm wafting the smoke around. Just as a sign that that our prayers or our ritual is going up to heaven. To the cosmos, or whatever your beliefs are. The altar is draped with red cloth, symbolizing the passion and love associated with Mary Magdalene. That is one of the reasons why we associate red with her. Also with blood, the blood mysteries of the feminine, and the blood of Jeshua, and the blood of the new covenant, which many people who, depending on your beliefs, may see as symbolized of Joshua being crucified, or Jesus being crucified. I have some different beliefs which I present in the book about the reason for the blood red, mostly associating with the passion and love associated with Mary Magdalene. The 3 candles represent Mary as mother, as maiden, mother, and crone, and the Trinity, the Father, Mother, and child. The Holy Spirit is female, so some of you may not be aware of that, but in the Christian church, they talk about Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and often we don't realize the Holy Spirit is the female symbol. The chalice symbolizes Joshua's spiritual essence. The alabaster jar, which is behind the rose, symbolizes the anointing oils. Mary was, in some legends, learned the practice of anointing either in Egypt or from Mother Mary, depending on which legends you follow. And as I said, I've cloaked my statue of Mary Magdalene in a brown cloth. And that signifies her often misunderstood and misrepresented image. So we've sanctified the space with the smoke. It clears away any distractions or lower vibration energies. And I'd like you to establish the sacred circle by repeating what's on this slide with me, if you feel comfortable doing that. Within the realm of the infinite and amidst the rhythm of the cosmos, we create a sanctified space, a temple unfettered by walls, a haven that transcends dimensions, where we can intimately commune with our inner divinity and invite the universal divine essence to join our gathering. Just feel into that presence joining us. Let the cosmos align and unite within this sacred space. As we will it, so it shall be. And now I'm going to call in the directions. This is a way to honor nature, and I believe that Mary, when she was traveling with Jeshua, or in my book, she traveled with 7 followers, 7 women followers, teaching the women in Galilee about the way. but I believe that she would have honored nature, connected to it. She and Joshua had received new commandments: love the Creator God, love ourself, and love our neighbor, which to me means all of nature or all that is. So I'm going to call in the directions to honor nature. Watchtowers of the East, guardians of the air, we summon you and graciously welcome you into our circle. You who guide us towards the breaking dawn, the breath of life and new beginnings, grant us clarity to enlighten our path and understanding. We greet you with deep gratitude. Watchtowers of the South, sentience of fire, we call upon you and invite you into our sacred circle. You who embody the heat of the midday sun, the flame of transformation and the spark of passion, warm us with your radiant light, igniting our hearts and galvanizing our spirits. We honor your invigorating presence. Watchtowers of the West, keepers of the water, we beckon you and invite you into our gathering. You who reflect the tranquility of dusk, the realm of emotions and introspection, imbue us with deep empathy and facilitate emotional release. We receive you with reverence. Watchtowers of the North, protectors of earth, we invoke you and welcome you into our sacred circle. You who mirror the quiet mystery of midnight, the whispering wisdom of our ancestors, the fertile soil of the presence, and the solid grounding of the mountains. Grace us with your unwavering strength and profound wisdom. We welcome your stabilizing presence. Father Sky, Star Weaver, Daybringer, we invoke and welcome you. Bestow on us your light, the radiance of countless stars, the nurturing warmth of the sun. We thank you for your expansive vision. Mother Earth, our bedrock and nurturer, we call upon you. Nourish us with your bountiful offerings. Remind us of our humble roots and teach us resilience. May we tread softly on you in peace and gratitude. We honor your nurturing spirit. And lastly, we turn inward to the sacred within. You may want to place your hand on your heart, the divine essence that dwells within each of us, the eternal flame of consciousness and love. We honor you. Guide us to align our inner compass with grace and the truth of our being. We affirm our interconnectedness with all of creation. With these invocations, we have summoned the sacred directions, creating a sphere of potent energy around us. Let us proceed enfolded in this divine embrace. And with this ritual, we gather here in sacred unity to honor Mary Magdalene. Our purpose is to restore you, Mary, to your rightful position of reverence, recognizing you as a goddess of resolute strength, profound wisdom, and infinite love, a woman who navigated the challenges of time to emerge as a beacon of unwavering light and truth. We wish to serve as vessels for the divine feminine, embodying within us your strength and tenderness, integrating the virtues you so powerfully represent. May your wisdom guide our steps, your love nurture our hearts, your resilience fortify our spirits. We seek to mirror your profound love, your steadfast faith, and your empowering spirit in our own lives, fostering a deeper connection with the divine. And I'm now going to take off the brown covering, the scarf that was on Mary Magdalene, revealing her in her glory, in her presence as the divine human. I'm going to continue to light the other candles. And as I light these other candles, I invite Mary Magdalene's energy her passion, and her creative life force into this circle. Mary, may you embody the aspects of the triple goddess, maiden, mother, and crone, symbolizing the full cycle of life. As an independent maiden, a passionate, devoted, and equal partner, an eager student, and a wise teacher, you represent every woman's journey through life. You, Mary, have undergone the mysteries of transformation and rebirth. You are the one who has gnosis, who acted as a counselor, and a most cherished partner to Jeshua, Jesus the Christ. It is time for your luminous truth to be unveiled, casting away all shadows and lighting the world with your love, beauty, and joy. We now position you with the reverence you deserve. May your divine love and partnership with Jeshua guide our own relationships and spiritual paths. Your presence reminds us of the divine feminine within each of us, serving as a guide to express love freely, to cultivate wisdom, and to nurture our spiritual growth. Mary, we honor you, we respect you, and we love you. Come into our circle. We embrace your sacred presence. Enrich our circle with your divine essence and infuse us with the wisdom and love that you radiate. Here, may your spirit be known, felt, and honored in our hearts and through our lives. And we're going to honor the reunion of our divine masculine and feminine. And we're also going to evolve that to a higher octave, a higher plane. Mary, as divine human anthropos, you stand side by side with the Christos. The two halves are together once again, just as they were in the beginning. Your union is a symbol for the renewal of life, the perfect balance of male and female energies. In this moment, we recognize that within each of us is the consciousness of our divine selves and our connection with all that is. And I ask you to repeat after me if this feels right for you. In recognizing the divine union within me, I honor the amalgamation of my inner God and goddess. I am all that is. I am the embodiment of the one who knows all. And now I wish to explore a higher octave of this aspect of sacred union. What if we no longer think of the divine masculine and the divine feminine as being separate? What if there is only divine androgyny? As we evolve, the idea of separate male and female qualities becomes a no thing. It is as foreign to our minds as the sensation of winding a watch to keep time, since we now live in a world with digital timekeeping at our fingertips. If this next step in the process resonates with you, feel yourself becoming an etheric, divine androgyne, a combination, no separate energies, ready to leap forward on the evolutionary path. And now I want to redefine Mary's role in history. In this ritual, I invite you to view Mary through a fresh what-if lens. Let's contemplate the potential impact of redefining Mary's role throughout history. Imagine a world where Mary Magdalene wasn't stigmatized or marginalized as a penitent woman purged of 7 demons. What if her abilities were acknowledged rather than diminished? What if she'd been given the platform to influence the world as she could have, possibly shifting the trajectory of the historical injustices faced by women? What if instead she had been celebrated and revered? How might this alternative narrative have reshaped society's perception of women? Could women have found their voice earlier and maintained the leadership roles they initially held in their communities? I'd like you to ponder the idea that it's within our power to change our interpretation of the past, to shift our perspective in today's reality. This deep intuition tells us the historical misrepresentation of Mary Magdalene requires redefinition and recognition. Imagine our present perceptions reshaping the past so women are now esteemed and respected and listened to. Although this isn't recognized by mainstream science, there are practices such as quantum healing, retrocausality and quantum physics, and alternate therapies like hypnotherapy and past life regression that are exploring the concepts of altering the past to influence the present and the future. And as well, the scientific field of epigenetics is studying how past experiences might impact our present and future on a biological level. While these concepts may seem like fringe ideas today, remember that many principles we now accept in metaphysics were once considered outlandish. So for the sake of our ritual, let's suspend disbelief and entertain the possibility of reshaping history. By altering our understanding of the past, perhaps together we can change the present and future. Let's take 3 deep breaths and close your eyes if it feels comfortable. And send yourself and your energy back to the 1st century, around 30 AD. We're journeying alongside Mary, delving deeply into her enlightened existence. Marvel at Mary's unique metaphysical skills, honed at mystery schools. Shattering traditional portrayals, see Mary emerge as an inspiring teacher, a watchtower of strength and wisdom, and a powerful leader. See her striding through Galilee, teaching and gently empowering the men and women that she meets. As you meet her, her tender affection touches the deepest depths of your soul. You follow her from the serene streams to the bustling wells of Galilee, discovering places where women congregate, their hands occupied with daily chores, their hearts open to Mary's teaching. Amid the women engaged in gathering water and laundering clothes, Mary imparts the wisdom of the way. It's not merely a route to an improved life, but a potent philosophy, offering a life of conscious fulfillment, inner peace, and unbridled freedom to live passionately. As a woman who has heard this message, you are irrevocably changed. And you and other women's husbands, fathers, and brothers, and the townsmen automatically feel the difference in you and the other women, and they treat you with respect. Even the Romans notice the difference. You women support each other and carry on living the way even after Mary has left your community. You teach your sisters and brothers, so the message of love the Creator, love yourself, and love your neighbor continues to spread. The respect and high esteem extended to women shifts the culture. People who oppose it at first leave and go elsewhere, but soon it is so all-pervasive, the naysayers see the light and change. This extends through other countries and timelines and into timelessness. So as the world evolves in the centuries to come, The idea that women were anything but equal, respected members of the global community is not even conceived of. Hold firm to this knowing. Bring it into the present time. See women in our world having equal opportunities. See their incredible strength and problem-solving abilities recognized, and see them in positions of leadership, keeping peace, love, and light in our world as it has been for centuries. Feel the God bumps rippling through you. Feel Mary's essence, loving you, holding you, strengthening you. So be it, so it is done. We offer our gratitude to Mary Magdalene and the divine feminine energy she embodies for inspiring us to embody our own power and wisdom in today's ritual. And we thank the directions for their presence and energy in this circle and release them with gratitude. We close the ritual, but not the celebration, knowing that the blessings and energy we have invoked will stay with us. Let us turn to consider the Magdalene and her significance and legacy. I'm aware that I said we'd keep the ceremony to an hour. So I'm just going to, I was going to delve deeper into the historical and spiritual significance of Mary. But first I'm going to talk about the resources that I wanted you to be aware of. And then those of you who need to leave can do so. And those of you who'd like to stay, we'll talk about and discuss the significance of Mary's legacy and the fact that Mary is only mentioned 12 times in the Bible, but her impact and her legacy transcend these sparse references. So I'm just going to move us forward here to some inspirational resources. With it being the Feast of Mary Magdalene, a number of people have wanted to launch their initiatives. One of them is our beloved Catherine Whitman, who opened her Dancing Heart art shop today. She's launching her beautiful Mary Magdalene art as well as her other art. Beautiful glissé prints of Mary Magdalene, of angels, of other inspiring art, and also some lovely cards that you can send to friends and family. Some of them are prints of the Mary Magdalene art. I've got my eye on a couple of other cards that I just love. And being in Canada, it can sometimes be a challenge to get them, but I'm looking forward to being able to have them and display them around my home and feel their energy. The other oracle cards, if you're an oracle card lover, as I said, Elaine Kalila, the leader of the Priestess Presence group I belong to, released her Magdalene Rose Oracle. And that's also available online to draw the cards. And I tried to find the link for that this morning and I couldn't. But if you are really into Oracle cards and you want to purchase cards today, you get extra gifts and a raffle entry for a grand prize. Elaine is going to also be having Red Women Podcast Summit. This summit takes you through the energies of empowering women. And it's going to be going on July 23rd through 30th. You can find out more about it at the MagdaleneRoseOracle.com as well. Meg Watterson also released a Magdalene Oracle deck this week, and it's based on Mary's Gospels and Legends. And another resource that I just love for Mary Magdalene, and I've been following Kayleen Aspo's Mythica Foundation for several years now. She has usually has events that run for several days around Mary Magdalene's feast day and around the solstices and equinoxes. No, I'm sorry, during Lent and Epiphany. So other significant times in the church's calendar, but times that it's not religious by any means. Kayleen Aspo is a woman, Renaissance woman who loves music and art and has, I think, 4 master's degrees, one in music, one in art, one in, well, her thesis that she did for one of them was about Mary Magdalene, and she also leads pilgrimages. So her wonderful presentations are available on a sliding scale and sometimes even free, and you learn so much about Mary Magdalene by attending her events. So that was some of the resources. Are there any other resources that you guys know of that you'd like to share? Oh, great. Here's Catherine's put in some. Yes, thank you, Catherine. I know you'll find a way to get these cards to me that I want. I'm just really looking forward. They're beautiful. So there, Catherine's put in a nice direct link that you can use to purchase Elaine's cards and her week-long celebration as well. So if there's any other resources that you know of that you'd like to share with Mary Magdalene, please put them in the chat. Wanted to mention that I have a Mary Magdalene book club that is a Facebook group. It formed several years ago when I first started working on my book. A lot of the people that are in it were people who were fans or readers of my Beyond the Infinite Doorway book, my other metaphysical fantasy. So I just wanted to mention that this is going to be becoming more active, and we'll likely have some events. Well, we will have some events around the launching of my book, which will probably be before Christmas. I was thinking about keeping it and until next July to celebrate and releasing it during her feast day. But book 1 and 2, I think, will be coming out this fall. Book 1 will be going to the formatter and cover designer in a couple of weeks, and I'll be, as I said, getting more active again with the Mary Magdalene Lives Book Club. In the meantime, though, you can go there, and I've got stories of Mary Magdalene. When I participated in some writers groups where we were asked to talk about what our main characters love to do, what their favorite modes of transportation were, and you can find out about Mary and her camel races, which is part of the book, and some other fun things that Mary talked about. And as well, I tuned in and answered some questions about love, romantic love, spiritual love, a few other things too. So you can go and have a look at the Facebook group, and ask to join, and I'd love to have you become a member. Just a little commercial for my other books. And as I said, I'm aware, we've gone over time. But for those of you who can stay, I'd like to invite any questions you're sharing, and then we can go back and talk about some of the history that you might find interesting about how Mary Magdalene came to be viewed as a prostitute, and how that has been reversed, and a few other things like that. So just those of you that have to leave, thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. And I wanted to just close before we go back to our discussions by saying that the influence of Mary Magdalene's story, her strength and her wisdom, can empower women today and foster a deeper understanding that we are the creators of our own reality, and we can consciously choose to respond to life's circumstances in healthy and enlightened ways. My hope is that you will experience transformative energy through this engagement with Mary, a shift in your vibration that not only elevates your personal consciousness, but also contributes to our world's transition towards a more conscious, equitable state. In essence, the figure of Mary Magdalene embodies an amalgamation of historical realities, ecclesiastical errors, and legendary lore. Despite the challenges presented by each, she emerges as an unforgettable icon, a symbol of resilience, love, and enlightened leadership. Let us remember and honor her today, not only for what she was believed to be, but more importantly, for what she truly represents, a divine human woman of profound strength, power, unconditional love, and wisdom. Together, let's honor Mary Magdalene and draw from her legacy to inform and inspire our lives today. And as our gathering concludes, feel Mary Magdalene's strength, wisdom, and deep love in your life. Each of you has contributed your energy to the richness of this sacred circle, and for that, I am keenly grateful. I invite you to carry forth a deepened sense of connection, the harmony of divine masculine and feminine within you, evolved and embodied by Mary Magdalene as divine androgyne. And remember your own divine potential and embody this energy in your lives. May the essence of today's celebration extend into your everyday life and radiate into our world. Thank you for honoring Mary Magdalene on her feast day. With this, we bring our gathering to a close. Be well and carry the spirit of Mary with you always. If you'd like to unmute and we can talk and share, you can ask questions, we can discuss Mary's legacy, whatever you feel called to do.
Thank you for doing this.
And the other thing that I'd love to get some feedback on is some ideas for my titles. If you feel, I'm going to maybe run by, maybe I didn't make up the slides I was intending to. I didn't. Oh,
There were
darn.
slides.
Okay, well, I
you
guess.
skipped over.
Oh, they're there. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Thank you so much, Gina-Dianne. It was absolutely beautiful. I'm so
I'm
sorry that I
wondering if any of these titles would make you want to pick up the book and read it. Mary Magdalene Lives the Way. Oh. Mary Magdalene Lives, Going Beyond the Veil. Walking in Wonder, Mary Magdalene Teaches the Way. Mary Magdalene Explores the Way, Mary Magdalene Lives, Walking in Her Footsteps. Mary Magdalene Lives, Unraveling or Understanding or Walking in or Discovering the Mysteries of Spiritual Fulfillment. Mary Magdalene Lives, Lighting the Path to Liberation. Mary Magdalene Lives, Fulfillment Beyond Boundaries, The Way of Empowered Serenity, Unleashing the Power of Existence, A Walk in the Footsteps of Divine Feminine Wisdom, The Way, Mary Magdalene's Mission, The Age of Deception, Mary Magdalene's Untold Story, the Piscean age that Mary and Jesus lived in was called the Age of Deception. That's where that idea came from. And the Tower of Power, or the Tower of Love, Mary Magdalene in the Age of Deception. Mary Magdalene, Jesus gave her the nickname the Tower, or the Watchtower, in legends. So that's where that title came from. So do any of those resonate?
I like the Walking in
I
Wonder.
can't hear you, Mary friend.
I don't know why.
You're not muted.
No, I like Walking in Wonder.
I wonder why I can't hear you. I know. It's because I've got my speakers off. Go ahead.
Walking in Wonder is one.
You liked Walking in Wonder?
Mhm.
Mary
And
Magdalene Teaches the Way. Okay, I
And the-
see what happened. I've got my music on still. Let me turn that off. There we go. Now I
And-
should be able to hear you.
and also on the second page, there is one that I really, really like.
On the second sheet?
Yeah, the second sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it? Let's see. Oh, yeah. A Walk in the Footsteps of Divine Feminine Wisdom.
Okay, great.
There's a big need for that and a big audience for that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Does that sound like it could be a novel, or does it sound more like
No, it could be a novel, either one of
I
them.
think so? It could
Oh,
be.
absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And the one on this page was, sorry, Walking in Wonder, Mary Magdalene
Yes.
Teaches the Way.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. How about you, Doriana? Do any of those grab you? Just looking at the chat here.
I'm sorry, but I fell asleep.
Oh, no
No,
problem.
no.
I'm just asking about, here, let's get back here to The
Well-
possible titles for my book, whether any of these would make you want to purchase the book, or to, you know, if you kind of saw these on Amazon or in the bookstore, if you liked any of these ideas that are on the slide here, I'll give you a few minutes to look at them.
Well, my visual video is out.
Oh, okay.
And my screen is dark. There's
Okay.
nothing on it, and so I feel out of it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. Mary Fran's given me her opinion, so that's good. I appreciate that, Mary Fran. I'm going to go back. To the significance and legacy, which was the part that I didn't cover. This picture here represents Pope Gregory and his misrepresentation of Mary Magdalene as the penitent prostitute. And this shows Mary in a different light, preaching to people on the shores of Saint-Marie de la Mar in Provence, France. This is where legend says that she went after the resurrection and ascension, and after she did her work in the Holy Land and completed it, she went to Saint-Marie de la Mar and began to preach and teach there with her brother. Well, some of the legends say Lazarus was her brother. And in this legend, she and Mary Magdalene and Mary of Bethany were said to be the same woman. And then this just shows her a picture of her teaching, dressed in the garb of the 15th century Renaissance. That was an artist's rendition. And this is a picture of her in France, again in Provence, at one of the monasteries. There's a picture of her and her red cloak of compassion that extends across 3 walls of the monastery, and joins with Mary, Mother Mary, and Jesus. All of these people underneath her are saints and leaders and ordinary people who took Mary Magdalene as their mentor, or as their divine guide. I'm trying to think of what religious people would call them, but basically a mentor to guide them as an intercessor. So do you have about another 5 minutes or so, Mary Fran? Okay, so I'll just mention, and then we can talk a little bit about your impressions of this. Mary Magdalene, as I said, is only mentioned 12 times by name in the Bible. But it's amazing how much literature and legend has been written about her. She's seen as a woman of monumental strength, power, unconditional love, and wisdom. There are Gospels, Gnostic Gospels, that were found in the 1950s, I believe, in Nag Hammadi, the desert near the Dead Sea, in caves near the Dead Sea. And Mary Magdalene actually, or yes, has her own gospel called the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. It was found before the Nag Hammadi Gospels, Gnostic Gospels. It's believed that it was suppressed when the Christian church began amalgamating the four canonical gospels that they chose, the Gospel of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. These Gnostic Gospels were believed were not considered part of the Christian teachings, and so they were supposed to have been destroyed, but some rebel monks hid them, and that's why the Nag Hammadi scriptures have been found, and we're getting to know a little bit more about Mary Magdalene through them. The misunderstanding about her being a prostitute occurred in the 5th century when Pope Gregory said in a sermon or in a talk, I get back to the one before that, that he confused her with, well, I want to go back. There we go. He confused her with another couple of women in the Bible, and also with the story that Luke put in his gospel of Mary being a woman who Jesus cured of 7 demons. Scholars nowadays believe that the demons were in fact mental illnesses. Other scholars say it had something to do with the chakras, but most that I'm reading think that she was cured of mental illnesses. In those days, people thought that mental illness was caused by demons that came in and possessed the body. In 1969, the Catholic Church, one of the popes, said that they had been mistaken. Mary Magdalene was not a prostitute. There was nothing in the Bible that indicated that she was. That Pope Gregory had gotten, well, I don't think they actually came out and said that they'd gotten confused, but he'd confused these women. Once, just in, I think it was 2016, they elevated Mary's feast from, or Mary's celebration in the Catholic Church to a feast day. And they called her the Apostle to the Apostles. And that was a term actually that they used right in the early centuries for her. She was called that because she was the one who first saw Jesus when he rose. And he said he commissioned her to go and tell the other apostles. So being an apostle means being a witness. So by Mary witnessing Jesus' resurrection to the other apostles, she was called the Apostle to the Apostles. In the Gospel of Mary that I was mentioning, it shows Peter says that she knew more than the others, that Jesus shared more of his knowledge with her. And many people, again, the scholars that study her, believe that she understood Jesus' teachings more on a higher level than what the apostles did. So these are some of the reasons why she's becoming more popular today, why she's being revered as an important figure. Some of the people in the Catholic Church are using this information to support the idea of women being in the clergy. And people who aren't religious just really feel a connection. Some of them felt that way because she was a prostitute and she was forgiven. Other people are coming around to seeing her as a powerful leader and teacher and are fascinated by the possibilities that she provides. What I was trying to convey in the ritual today and in my books is this possibility that if she had been revered, that she may have changed history. And in my books, I actually sort of have her do that. I call them spiritual fantasies, because some of the skills that she has, the metaphysical skills she has, people would consider fantasy or fantastic. Things like telepathy, remote viewing, astral travel. So those are ideas that I've come up with. I haven't really read them anywhere else, but these ideas came to me when I was writing. The legends suggest that she traveled to France. That's the most popular ones. Others say that she went to Turkey and lived with Mother Mary and St. John. The ones that say she went to Provence, France, say that she taught the way, and then she became a hermit who chose a life of solitude in a cave and was lifted up to heaven to be nourished by angels who fed her 7 times a day with spiritual food. But they underscore the lasting impression that she made on generations of people, and they reflect the reverence people have for Mary Magdalene as a beacon of divine feminine strength and wisdom. So my hope as well is that we're not only unearthing Mary's suppressed strength, but also helping you recognize your potential. Her message of the way is really pertinent now. I feel that we're more ready to understand and embrace it, and humanity is looking for ways to change the chaos in the world. And the evolution of humanity could hinge on the teachings of the way, so that you are more connected with consciousness and you live a life of joy, inner peace, well-being, unconditional love, fun, and freedom. So opening yourself to these insights that can emerge from a connection with Mary can transform your life, I believe. And anybody that's curious and interested can have a benefit of these. So, what comments do you have about Mary and what you've heard today?
Well, I'd like to say that my interest in Mary started when I was very young. That's because I was named Mary. And however, I wasn't Mary Magdalene. That was like the Mary, Blessed Mother, and I should be just like her. And I knew very young that that wasn't going to happen. So that's why I picked Mary Magdalene. And it really empowers me to think that maybe she was a prostitute. And the fact that Christ was interested in her says a lot, about his acceptance of everyone, and that maybe prostitution isn't at all what we think it is. That maybe it's a service. I mean, there were, many millennia where the prostitute was a rich woman who befriended men in high places. They just called it a different name, but it was the same thing. And so, the whole idea that Gregory made a mistake, that he just miscalculated. No, I think, it was deliberate, and it was deliberate all these centuries for a reason. And that reason is so deep and so ingrained in our society that that's what we have to know, what we're up against. We need to deal with that, not just that this all happened against women because Mary was misinterpreted. Nah, I don't believe that at all. That's just me. That what we're up against is power. That there were times in history where women were equal. It didn't last very long, but it happened. In Umbria, there were, in ancient times where women were powerful. And there's a museum to the Essenes. Oh no, not the Essenes. I forget the name of the times when women were honored and respected, and women were so powerful that they got run right over. After a while, because physical force was bigger than whatever women were up to. So, and then the physical force was considered a real power, and love as a power is considered nothing. And to this day, we're still dealing with it. And every woman all through history has dealt with it, so it's very primal.
That's fascinating. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, women have definitely had periods when they've been powerful.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see that become that equality become more prevalent in our society. Yeah.
Well, and the former president, Jimmy Carter, said that the biggest problem in the whole world is that women aren't considered equal. I mean, he really has a handle on the truth. And it really comes down to that until that happens, until women are respected, we can't expect to have a world that works.
Yeah. I think there are a lot of leaders that are starting to see that, but they tend to be more spiritual leaders. Like I'm thinking the Dalai Lama
Right.
said that this is the age when women need to come forward. And
Well, the thing is, when they come forward, they get shot down. It's like men have to step up, and but what man wants to, given that he's in the highest position, just by virtue of being born with a different body part than women.
Yes, yeah.
It's crazy. Women give birth. It's the most powerful honor given to any living being, is to be able to give birth. And men say, it's nothing. Just it's worthless, or that's all you're good for. That's another thing. And it's not very much either. So
Yeah.
their little seed is worth more than, the egg and the 9 months and the process of birth and taking care of children. Yeah, that doesn't count. That's considered lowly. You're just a mother,
That's right. Yeah.
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 The whole society is upside down, with what's valuable.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking of how important it is for us as women to send out the energy and to visualize a different world, and to, if we were able to use some of the metaphysical principles that are of rewriting the past, or just rewriting our perceptions of the past, so that women are more respected, then that does spread the energy in a way that I'm not sure if you've found in working with people that as they change and become more powerful, or more able to speak their truth, or more able to set boundaries, that the people that they live with that are in unhealthy situations either leave, or they start to shift and come around as well.
Oh, yeah. For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
So they, if we can make small differences, this is one of the things that I've sort of gotten my perspective from Mary, even though it's taken 2,000 years, in the grand scheme of things, that's not a long time, and that things are starting to change now in some respects.
And flipping back too, though, I don't want to be, a downer on this, but they had to be fought for all the time. And there wasn't a time, or at least a long time before Christ, where women were respected. There were, I mean, really, it's been since the dawn of time, or at least as far back in history as we've got.
Mhm.
There were little brief times, there's talk of the Amazonian women, in brief pockets where women were respected, but really, overall, not. We don't have a history of women's empowerment, or
Mhm.
in society as a whole. So I don't know. We can fight for it, but it is a fight.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Thank you. Okay. Anything that you'd like to add, Doriana? You've fallen back to sleep?
Yeah, I'm still kind of out of it, but it's been very interesting. I've been listening.
Okay, great.
And, so thank you for doing this, because of course Mary Magdalene's very special to me too, as I took several groups to France back in the 90s, and So it's nice to hear you all and the things you're bringing in at the moment.
Great, good. Hey, well, thank you very much for coming. I appreciate that. Anything else you'd like to say?
Are you talking to Doriana?
Pardon me?
Oh, were you talking to Doriana when you asked?
Either of you?
Okay. I'd like to know what the questions were that we didn't get to.
Oh, okay. So, in the context of today's world, how might the teachings and examples of Mary Magdalene inspire us to recognize and embrace our own potential? Can you share any personal experiences where her story or teachings have influenced your life? And I think, Mary Fran, you got a bit of a chance to share that, which is great. Reflecting on Mary Magdalene's legacy and her roles as a divine human woman, what aspects of her character or teaching resonates the most with you? And how might these insights influence your personal or spiritual growth in the future? Is there anything that you wanted to mention about that?
Probably have to think about it. I will be more conscious of her. You know, I kind of just put her on the back burner because, you know, she was important in my past, but I no longer consider myself religious. And so I just, I wasn't thinking of her that much. And, you know, given that she was respected, you know, that I love that, you know, her gospel was found, and I may have heard about it, but at the time, but I was busy doing other things. I wasn't at a church, you know, never heard any talk about it. So, you know, I'm reinvigorated on, you know, Mary's influence, and I'm empowered by that. And I'm going to call on her to do something about the situations that we're in right now and the dire straits of females right now. I mean, really, going back in time, if you're in the US, and it's frightening.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of I'm trying to think of a way to put it. Well, yeah, as you said, going back in time into the disempowerment of women again.
Absolutely, and disrespect, unbelievable disrespect. That your life doesn't matter. Only a child that may or may not be viable, that's more important than you, because it was in the Middle Ages, you know, and before, but it shouldn't be now. It's, you know, and even then it shouldn't have been, because who's going to take care of those children? What the men were saying is, we can just get another wife, you know, but hey, we want that baby in case it's male.
Yes, yeah.
And that's still, you know, where it's still with us, and it's so sad, you know, that you would let a woman die, you know, in a birth situation where she could die, but the baby's more important. And I got that message when I was very young.
Wow.
And it shocked me then, it still shocks me.
Yeah. Yeah.
The disrespect is the contempt that's happening now politically is just, it's rude awakening for all females. After we gained a little bit of freedom to own our own bodies. And I'm not threatened. I'm not going to get pregnant, you know. That ship sailed. I'm done. But so many others, so many women, and it just affects all of us.
Yeah,
And it's tragic.
it really is kind of scary to see what's going on.
Yeah. Okay.
So this one is, if Mary Magdalene had been celebrated for her strength, wisdom, and spiritual prowess from the beginning, how might that have changed the role of women in society throughout history and today? So we've sort of addressed that as well.
Yeah.
Talking about, how it's been physical power over.
Yeah.
So may or may not have changed things.
Yeah. I mean, that's why that message, the message of her power never got out, because if it wasn't Pope Gregory, it would have been some other man that said, we can't have that. We can't have a woman being honored. Just the way it is. Yeah.
And so in our current time, when we're seeing this renewed interest and recognition of the divine feminine, how might Mary's teachings and example inform or inspire this modern movement? It's been interesting for me to be doing the research for my book, reading some of the scholarly information and the ideas about being divinely human, divine anthropos, and the idea of the nous and just people that have studied not only her gospels, but some of the other relooking at the Bible from the Aramaic, the way that it was written in Greek mostly, but how it could have been if it was Jesus' teachings were written in Aramaic, what they might have been like. And it's just been really interesting to see how inspiring it is for me. And I'd done a lot of research when I was younger, and then I stopped when I realized I was going to be writing this book, because I didn't want what I'd written to influence me too much. And so since I've finished writing it and I've just been editing it, I've been getting back into the some of the literature about her. I was trying to think. Cynthia Bourgeault is someone who I really admire, that's been writing about Mary Magdalene, and one of her other books is called The Eye of the Heart, which you might enjoy. I'm trying to think of what the one about Mary Magdalene is called. But if you're interested in exploring Mary a little bit more, she's somebody that I'd recommend. And Karen King is another person who wrote about the Gospel of Mary. And there's actually a book called The Beloved Companion, which was released just a few years ago, and it's written supposedly, I believe that it was, or that it was kept for many years by I think it was, by a population of people in France, in Provence, France, saying they said that Mary had brought this text with her from Egypt, where they say she first went after she left the Holy Land. But So 3 books that I'd recommend.
Thanks.
Beloved Companion and Cynthia Bourgeau's books. I'm just looking up her. The name of her Mary Magdalene book. She's a Episcopal priest and
Nice.
theologian, but she's also a mystic.
Oh.
So she has a slightly different take on things.
I have a question for you. Did you channel this work that you're doing?
I wouldn't say I channeled it. It felt as I was writing it that that Mary Magdalene was right there with me, and that the characters in the book were right there with me. But I wasn't writing down her words. It was more, I was getting imaginings of the scenes. And certainly some of the things like, who would come up with camel races, Mary Magdalene being in a camel race, I don't think, I wonder how that idea came to me, and plus, yeah, just the characters. And so I wouldn't say it was channeled. I do think that when I tune in, I have a connection and can listen for the small still voices and get ideas. The same.
Oh, so it's a novel? Is it a novel, or is it based more on history or ideas, or?
It's a novel. I'm calling it a spiritual fantasy and alternate history.
All right, got it.
So it's sort of like, what if?
Yeah, I would.
If this
That's
had
great.
happened, and what if Mary really was this inspiring leader of women and leader and teacher of women? What would her life have been like? And what if she had been really influential in and worked closely with Jesus? In the book, she and him both had gotten the message from the Creator about, or source, about this new commandment and the way, and they developed it together. And Mary did a lot of research as well to develop it, and they got the main kernels of idea from the Creator, and then they took it and developed it. And so their teachings were how to live a higher conscious life without struggle. And then so the first 2 books are about Mary traveling through Galilee and teaching women, and then the second book is about her meeting with Jeshua in Capernaum, and they traveled together to Jerusalem, and she was with them during the crucifixion and the resurrection, the ascension, and how after he ascended, her role in establishing the community that followed the way and helping the apostles get on their mission. And then I have 3 more books where she travels with Jeshua into the future, into her future, into pre-Columbian Americas, because there's legends from the Church of the Latter-day Saints that Jesus traveled the Americas. So I based on those legends that Mary Magdalene was with them and traveled to South America, the Maya lands, and the indigenous people in North America. And then my final book is where they go into the future and into the it starts in around 2032, and how she influences the new age of consciousness, the new golden age of consciousness.
That's great. Love it.
Yeah.
Very good. Yay.
Mhm.
I really appreciate you doing this. You are just incredible with how you set it up, and all the pictures and, the slides are just enormous. Just excellent.
Well, it just reflects my love for
Mm,
her and subject, and yeah.
but you're a teacher at heart. You're a teacher. Yeah.
Thank you. Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah. I found the book by Cynthia Bourgeault. It's The Meaning of Mary Magdalene,
Oh, wow.
Discovering the Woman at the Heart of Christianity.
All right. Very interesting.
Yeah. And then it's, yeah. So
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you for staying on. I really appreciate it.
Well, I didn't want to miss it, and you had such good material. I didn't want to overlook that because all of it's good.
Thank you. And thanks, Doriana, for absorbing the energy. I think
Absolutely.
just being here, even if you're a little bit out of it, that energy is here to uplift you, and
Yes.
appreciate your support by being here and staying through.
Well, thank you for doing this, and I learned a lot.
Great, that's good.
It's been great, so thank you.
Thank you
I
both.
love your outfit too.
Oh, yeah.
It's so gorgeous.
Sorry, my screen's black.
Yeah.
I don't know
that's
what's
a shame.
happening with Zoom. So
Yeah,
I'm just going
every
down.
once in a while Zoom sure acts up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, take care, everyone, and we'll see you in our Word of the Month group.
All right.
Okay, bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.